with the Big East. We have 10th ranked Marquette taking on 21st ranked UConn. Interesting matchup from a lot of different standpoints, starting with the fact that Marquette came into this game riding a 5-game win streak. But look, UConn threw the first punch and never looked back. RC, starting with you, what stood out to you about the Huskies?
Their guard play. Their guard play has struggled mightily, and when their guard play struggled, they just look like a completely different team. This team tonight, their guards played like they did at the beginning of the year, when this team was as high as a top 5 team in the country. So when Hawkins and Newton and those guys play that way, they're just a tough out. We know we're going to get inside with Sanogo and Klingon and those guys. They play well. I mean, give them credit. I'm not down on Marquette. Marquette's still really, really good. They ran into a buzzsaw team that played as well as they've played all year. And give UConn credit. They needed it. They needed to respond at home, and they did. But the guard play was the biggest difference.
Yeah, guard play was good. They came in the game focused. They looked ready. Marquette has won 9 out of 10. They're a top 3 Ken Palm offensive efficiency team. So this might have been a little just a game of regression. Just a game that, hey, can't win them all. UConn was ready, but I still like them kind of being towards the top of the Big East, and that's what they're fighting for a championship. So it's a fun game to watch. Marquette, like RC said, walked into a buzzsaw, but 9 out of 11, top 3 offense in the country, top of the Big East. You shake their hand and say, hey, let's win the next one.
UConn had to have it. Let's be honest. I mean, they could not. They could ill afford to lose this game. I mean, this was you never want to say must win when you're freaking nationally ranked, but if they have any hopes of competing at the top of the Big East, of winning it, and I should say the regular season wise, they had to have this game, and credit to them. They came out, they did what they had to do, and they won it.
Key too here from my standpoint is the balanced scoring. 5 different players scored in double figures, which is going to be huge down the stretch. When you start to get into tournament time, you have to be able to have a little bit of depth, a little bit of juice that you can go to. 2 stats stick out for me tonight from UConn. First off, Huskies out-rebounded Marquette big time with the margin, 48-24. But riddle me this one, John Henson. How did UConn have 17 turnovers and still win this game?
Marquette didn't, they did not capitalize on those turnovers. They only made 5 threes, 5 of 21, 23%. Being a highly efficient offensive team, that's not going to help you. And then the guards, Hawkins had 20 tonight. Triple-double there and then there too. Newton, right?
Newton had a triple-double.
Yeah, Hawkins gets 20, Newton gets triple-double. You're not beating them boys. I'm sorry. So it's one of them nights.
I thought one of the most underrated stats was out of the 31 field goals, they had 20 assists.
Yeah.
Like that was big. The ball was moving. It was flying. It was just finding guys. Listen, when we talked about it, when UConn guard plays well, their guard stunk for a while there. They struggled mightily. And as they struggled, the team struggled. And tonight they made shots. And we'll see if they can consistently keep this up. They've shown us what they're capable of. When they're really, really good, this team is really, really good. And when they're bad, they're disappointing. So if they can get consistent play out of those guards, then, this team could be back in the top of the Big East. Right now, they still got they got a ways to go.
Which is funny because it wasn't too long ago when we were saying, is UConn the national champion?
Right, the national favorite, no doubt.
And that's how it was.